Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible was a huge influence on my love for romance manga. When I found out about its anime adaptation, I was excited. Airing next to another romance favorite of mine, The Dangers in My Heart, you'd think this would be a buffet of sugary sweet moments designed to put me in a diabetic coma. Well, that wasn't the case. I hated the Kubo anime. I mean, I really hated it. So much so that it made me question my love for the manga. Did I love this series because it was something new to me? I was a few volumes away from finishing the series, but had all but abandoned it until I finally reached for volume 10 recently and re-immersed myself back into the world of Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. There I found myself loving the story, the characters, and pretty much everything about it. So that begs the question, what went wrong with the anime adaptation? Well, crack open a cold one because that's what we're going to explore today, so let's get into it. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible is a slice-of-life rom-com that's heavy on the slice of life. It first hit the scene in October 2019 in Weekly Young Jump. The series was well received, leading to a pretty lengthy run, finally wrapping up in March of 2023. For the first part of the series, it mostly follows high schooler Junta Shiraishi, a mostly ordinary if not shy kid who has one glaring problem. He appears to be invisible to most people. His classmates, teachers, even his own mom has a hard time finding him, even when he's right in front of them. The only way that he gets noticed is when he speaks, which generally scares the bejesus out of most people. So Shiraishi mostly keeps to himself. He considers himself a mob, a background character with no distinctive traits. That all changes one day during a seating change when Shiraishi finds himself sitting next to Nagisa Kubo. Kubo is the opposite of Shiraishi. She's popular and outgoing, and she has a knack for being able to see Shiraishi no matter where he's at. It starts with Nagisa just greeting Shiraishi, which shocks him as he isn't used to being acknowledged by just about anyone. This simple gesture sparks a beautiful friendship that sees Nagisa slowly pulling Shiraishi out of his shell and helping him build his confidence and his friend group. It's honestly a wonderful coming-of-age story that tackles themes of confidence, self-worth, family, friendship, and of course, love. Eventually. Yes, Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible is one of those slow burn stories that's more focused on being a slice of life than romance. The romance is implied and you understand very clearly that these two characters have growing affection for one another, but the main focus is just their everyday musings and activities. You come to find out later on that the Kubo family actually has a knack for finding Shiraishi, and Shiraishi's little brother, Sita, falls head over heels for Nagisa's cousin, Saki. With such a simple and wholesome premise, what went wrong with the anime adaptation? Well, first of all, I want to talk about a few of the things that it actually gets right. The animation from Pine Jam Studio is actually really good. Since this is a character-focused story, the character designs are perfect and look like they're straight out of the manga. There are even these walking shots they do of Kubo where her hair is moving that look very clean and fluid. Pine Jam also did a fantastic job capturing the consistent art style changes from the manga. The manga often switches from the regular art style to a chibi style look to help sell the various gags that go on throughout the course of the manga. The anime does an incredible job with these switches without them feeling jarring like they sometimes do in the manga. The anime overall is very easy on the eyes, and since the manga doesn't focus too much on the backgrounds, Pine Jam fills those in perfectly. Overall, a great effort outside of a few establishing and distant shots that just don't look great. The voice actors do a lot of the heavy lifting here since this is a very dialogue-centric show. You see, not much happens throughout the series beyond the day-to-day interactions between our characters. There aren't any dramatic running scenes or any really deep romantic scenes. In fact, Kubo spends most of her time lightly teasing Shiraishi in an attempt to both flirt and get him out of his shell. You can really feel the chemistry between the two characters through their voice actors' performances. Nagisa's voice is soft and feminine while still being assertive enough to sell the fact that she's actually the vocal leader of this pair, at least at this point in their relationship. Meanwhile, Shiraishi's voice feels masculine, but it's clear that the voice actor understands that Shiraishi is a timid guy and plays to that. You get a lot of scenes of him conveying that through very little dialogue. The same can be said for the supporting cast, especially Shiraishi's little brother Sita. Sita's voice is adorable and played so well you'd wish you were his big brother. For the most part, the anime nails the manga. It covers the most important moments from the manga, and the characters feel really authentic to their manga counterparts. The dialogue feels like it's taken straight from the source, and I don't think manga readers will really be overall disappointed with most of the choices made in this adaptation. But after rewatching the series for this review, I've come to a conclusion. Though it may have been a little hyperbolic for me to say that I hated the anime, I think a better description for my feelings on it is boring. Yes, though all of the charm and wholesome sweetness from the manga is present outside of those genuinely funny moments and sweet scenes, the Kubo anime adaptation is just kind of boring. With the exception of the first and maybe second episode, I found myself constantly looking at the playhead timer. Unlike most anime that I really like, which keeps me on the edge of my seat breezing through episodes wanting more, with Kubo, I was wondering when each episode was gonna end. Now maybe you're screaming to the screen right now, well actually, Kubo is a slow-paced slice of life, so what did you expect? Well, first of all, shut the fuck up, nobody asked you, weeb. Second, I didn't feel this way about the manga at all. In fact, I was breezing through the volumes ready for the next interaction, event, and milestone to happen to these characters. Despite all the amazing things that Pine Jam got right, for me, there was just one glaring miss. Like I've stated a number of times in this review already, Kubo is a slow burn slice of life before anything else. There is an overall plot, Nagisa and Shiraishi's growing affection for one another, but it's told like a collection of short stories, moments in these characters' lives. They do reference previous events and moments throughout the story, but most things that happen are pretty self-contained overall. Because of this, pacing is a critical aspect for television and movie adaptations. You see, when reading the manga, you, the reader, determine how the story is paced. If you want to linger on any moments, you can. When you want to move on, you can. That's not the case, however, for a TV show. There are way more factors to be considered when trying to pace out a show. You have things like runtime, vocal performances, beginning and ending credits, commercial breaks, and more. Instead of the pacing being determined by the reader, it's determined by all these outside factors. And since this story, and I use that very loosely, moves pretty slow in the overall development of both Shiraishi as an individual and his relationship with Nagisa, tough choices had to be made about what to include and what to cut. Mostly, I think it just lingers on some shots way too long. Some story elements could have been truncated just to keep the pace brisk enough to keep the viewer's attention. For example, the sleepover episode could have been cut down considerably. It includes several shots that just kind of hang. Considering that they aren't shots that serve to drive the plot forward, they just seem to pad out the runtime in the worst ways, it doesn't really seem that they were necessary. They don't tell us anything about Nagisa and her friends, nor do they give us any great backgrounds to linger on. So what was the point? If the producers would have trimmed some of the fat out of this, I think it really would have helped elevate the series to the quality and the entertaining level that the manga is. Now, would I say that this series is bad? No. The things that it does well outweighs the pacing issues. Still, knowing that with a few different choices by the production team, we may have gotten an S-tier series on par with The Dangers in My Heart really sucks, especially because I hold this series in such high regard. We've seen plenty of slice of life stories get adapted into fantastic series, and I'm hoping that Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible gets another chance. But let me know down in the comments what you think. Did you enjoy Kubo as it was? Would you like to see it get another season? Let me know. Also, if you're into fashion, check out my main channel, Crooked Mark, where I talk about my other passion, fashion. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and click that like button, and if you're feeling generous, go ahead and click that subscribe button and join me on my anime and manga journey. Let's talk about the things we like, the things we don't, and everything in between. Until next time, peace